What's going on, my friends? Hope you're having an amazing day. Follow me on Instagram at DreamRare. Follow me on Twitter at Legendary Energy. Check out my website at legendary.vision. And of course, stay tuned on Facebook. Send some of my videos to your friends and family, whoever you want. Let's get the conversation flowing. And let's talk about Syria, Russia, and the United States. I'm going to wait about 5 to 10 seconds for people to come into the live stream. And this is something that's not going away. It's going to be in the news a lot. And it really is a cornerstone of everything that's going on politically here in the United States between the media, politicians. It's the real root of everything that's going on, yet they never talk about it. So give me about 5 seconds. I'm going to wait for more people to come into the stream. And we're going to get right at it. And we're going to talk Syria. That works. So before the election, you had one major difference between Donald Trump and Hillary Clinton. The news painted it as, oh, it's a racist, a sexist, misogynist, and everybody's terrible, versus Hillary Clinton, the queen, the savior of humanity, the destiny, and that's just not the truth. One of the biggest real differences between Donald Trump and Hillary Clinton was their Middle East policy. Hillary Clinton wanted to ramp up war with Russia and Syria and try to take over the president of Syria, whose name is Bashar al-Assad, who is being funded by Russia. Donald Trump had a different approach, and he said, you know what? Libya was left a mess. Iraq was left a mess. ISIS and Al-Qaeda are running rampant all over the Middle East, which they were. And he said, you know what? Instead of killing another leader and just leaving a power vacuum for terrorists, I'm going to be friends with Syria. I'm going to try to get along with Russia and have a peaceful solution. So Donald Trump, in this situation, whether people want to believe it or not, I don't know what news you're listening to, but Donald Trump is much more of a peacemaker. He wants to get along with Syria and Russia, and Hillary Clinton, the Democrats, the Republican, and the mainstream media, New York Times, Washington Post, Newsweek, all of these phonies, they're all saying, oh my goodness, he's racist, he's sexist, let's ramp up war, war, war. And this is the main reason why, as somebody who registered Democrat, I will never consider myself a Democrat again, because I thought the Democratic Party was the party of the working class. I thought the Democratic Party was the peace party, the party that wanted unity and rights and, love for everybody. But in reality, the conservative, neoconservatives and neoliberals, the Republicans and the Democrats, they're both just two heads of the same snake that is a war party. All of these news sources, they're warmongering news sources. So the modern day liberal, the reason that the movement is failing is not because liberal values aren't great. They are great, and I agree with most liberal values, but what you don't realize is these politicians you're supporting, just because they're a woman or just because they're a person with a darker skin color, it doesn't mean they're good people. In a lot of cases, they're the same old, and they're using those titles. I'm a woman, I'm a black man, I'm a this, I'm a that. They're using these titles to play you. It doesn't matter what somebody looks like, whether they're white or black or whatever. It matters the content of their character and what they're actually going to do for the country, for you, and for people all over the world. And what modern day Democrats don't understand is that during Barack Obama's presidency, whether you like it or not, we expanded war all over the Middle East. And not only did we expand war, so we're bombing 7 countries. That would be fine if our freedoms were going up and, everybody all over the world was doing great. But the opposite is happening. We're getting freedoms taken away. We're bombing all over the world, and terrorism is running rampant. So during Obama's presidency, during Bush and Obama, terrorism exploded. We said we were going to start the war on terror, but we stopped it. And this isn't everybody will say, oh, nominally you're this, you're that. I'm nothing. I'm not a Republican. I think George Bush was the same thing. I'm not a Democrat anymore because Obama, I gave him a chance. He did the same exact thing as George Bush. Obama is just George Bush in a cooler outfit. That's really all he is. And Hillary Clinton would have been more of the same. So millions of people voted for Donald Trump, not because of Russia, not because of this, because he had a better approach to these things. He said, let's focus on ourselves. But anyway, what's really going on is that Hillary Clinton, the media, the Democratic Party, Republicans like McCain, they're all part of the same corrupt bunch. I thought we knew that politics was corrupt. All of a sudden, Donald Trump wins and we act like all of these other politicians are saints. No, they're not saints. They're the ones being racist. They're the ones being sexist. They're the ones that are starting wars and doing all these terrible things all over the Middle East. And it couldn't be more obvious. I mean, people read the headlines and they see this and that, but let's be honest with ourselves. We pay how many billions of trillions of dollars into national security and defense? So we have the strongest military in the world. We're the biggest superpower. That's great, but then how did ISIS and Al-Qaeda start expanding over the past 8 years during the 16 years during Bush and Obama? It's because a lot of reports are showing, while New York Times and Washington Post and MSNBC, all these people are saying, oh, look, we're the liberals. We love gays. We love people of different colors and races and sex. They're masquerading that to just start more wars. So the reason that I'm not on that train is not because I'm racist or sexist. I support the LGBT community. I support all races, religions, and genders. I don't support war. I'm not a war hawk. I'm not a warmonger. I'm not a hypocrite. I'm not somebody who acts like I'm a nice person, but then I go and kill other people in other countries. That's what the Democrats are doing. That's what the modern day liberals or neoliberals are doing. That's what the conservatives and Republicans are doing. That's what the politicians are doing. Donald Trump took a different approach, and these people, the people that I'm talking about, the media, the Democrats, and the Republicans, they're trying to start the war that they wanted to start. They don't respect President Trump. They don't respect you. They don't think you have a voice. They don't think you have a chance. They think they run the country no matter who wins. And that's really what's going on. And now that Donald Trump won and is actually doing what he said he was going to do, he's creating peace in Syria. If you look at reports from Syrians and people close to the Syrian people, while the New York Times, the Washington Post, and MSNBC are saying, all these babies are getting killed and Trump's doing terrible things, what's really happening is the Syrian government, or the Syrian people, the Syrian army, and the Iraqi army, with the help of Americans now, and in Syria with the help of Russians, they're getting rid of ISIS. So this problem that the United States started, you're accountable for it. We're all accountable. If this is our country, America, we have to love it and love all people. If we're true liberals, if we're true people who stand for peace and love and unity, then why are you supporting politicians and their crony friends who are literally bombing other countries, aiding and funding terrorism, and people could care less? So in Syria right now, the Syrian army is taking back the land from ISIS. In Iraq, same thing. They're taking back the land from ISIS. ISIS is losing. Al-Qaeda's losing for the first time in 16 years. And it's not a random chance. It's because Donald Trump actually cares. He's not a politician. He's not part of this crony global system that has been lying to everybody via the mainstream media. And this is proven in their own documents as they leak all these nothing burgers from Trump every single day. It's a Trump leak, Trump leak, Trump leak, and it's like these boring phone calls that he said nothing. The real leaks came out a year ago, and it exposed their entire plan, but CNN and Washington Post and New York Times says, oh, you can't read them. Don't read these leaks. We're going to make stuff up about Trump. They make up all these fake stories, but the real leaks, don't read into them. And it said in those leaks that they knew, Hillary's campaign manager knew that Hillary's weakest part was her Russian ties. It's an ancient Nazi propaganda tactic. Accuse the enemy of everything that you're accused of. Blame everybody else and lie to them until it becomes a truth. This is straight out of the Nazi propagandist playbook, and they're doing it. They knew for a fact that their biggest weakness, Hillary Clinton and her campaign manager, their biggest weakness was their ties to Russia. They have sold 20% of the United States uranium to Russia. They've had hundreds of millions of dollars flowing to their personal private foundations from Russia. So they knew the real connection, even after a year of investigation, this whole phony Mueller grand jury thing that they're putting up between Mueller, who, look at what he did and his role in some of the wars in the United States. He's not a bipartisan hero. They knew that that was their weak part, and Trump didn't have ties like that to Russia. So now that's what they're doing. They're using the media and fooling everybody to talk about, oh, Trump has these ties to Russia. Trump has this. No. It's Hillary Clinton and her campaign manager who sold uranium and made hundreds of millions of dollars. That's the big tie. So they've admitted. This is not my thought. This is not a conspiracy. It's admitted in the 100% proven documents that they've even admitted are true. They've said that they were going to use, if they lost the campaign or during the campaign strategy, was to blame Trump and bring this whole Russia scare in. It's a whole tactic to distract you from what's really going on. And in Russia, and in Syria, what happened was the United States was funding moderate rebels in many cases. Even the New York Times is reporting on it now, because now they're all backtracking. Here's what they do. They lie to you. They push you into war. They say war, war, war. They disguise it as social justice. They disguise it as sexist and trans rights. Meanwhile, they're putting you into war. Who cares who's in the military if we're killing a bunch of innocent people and starting wars? I don't care who's doing it. I just want it to stop. And that's what they've been doing. So now that it's stopping, they're flipping the script. But even if you read New York Times now, they're like backing out. They're like, whoa, maybe that was a shady operation. Yeah, because they were funding, quote unquote, moderate rebels. And many reports said that it was Al-Qaeda and ISIS they were fighting. So of course Russia comes in. And a lot of people say that Syria, we're fighting over, the future of our currencies. We're fighting over oil. I'm sure that has a large part to play with it. But you have to think of Russia too, because Russia actually lives where they're connected to these countries a lot closer than we are. So if we start making a mess in the Middle East, guess who has to deal with it? It's Europe, it's Germany, it's France, it's Sweden, it's Russia. So it's not crazy that they would step in Syria. We act like it's the craziest thing, like, oh, we got to kill and fight Russia because they stepped into Syria. I mean, of course they're stepping into Syria. Look what we did to Iraq. We left Iraq in absolute mess, and we let terror groups take over millions of dollars worth of oil. Look what we did to Libya. We killed Gaddafi and just left a power vacuum, and now it's worse. Look what we were trying to do to Syria. So it's not irrational to think that Vladimir Putin stepped in so we didn't destroy the Middle East that he would have to pay repercussions for. And the media is like big babies. Everything they accuse Trump of doing, it's the media doing. And I'm telling you people, if you're truly a liberal, if you're truly a humanitarian and a social justice servant, you should be. If you're pro-trans, great, you should be. If you're LGBT, you should be. But what you should also pay attention to is the war. Because you can't be an activist if you're pro-war, if you're supporting politicians that start wars. And if you don't know they're starting wars, that's your own damn fault. Do a little research, because all of these news sources have been lying. And they accuse Trump of being a big baby. No, the media is a big baby. And the media is putting your life at risk. They're putting your kids and your family in danger while you're fighting for LGBT rights here, which you should and can do. They're starting wars and trying to start a literal war with Russia. World War III with Russia, a Cold War. It's happening. We're in a Cold War. We're at the lowest point of our relations with Russia, and it's because of the mainstream media trying to upend the president doing his job, trying to get along with Russia. You think we want to fight with Russia? How dumb and brainwashed and manipulated can you be? Russia is developing missiles that go at the speed of sound, that could fly past our radar and just kill people at any second, and you think those are the people you're trying to piss off? We have real life problems, that we have to solve. North Korea is a problem, whether it's Obama, Hillary, Trump, whoever in office, Mark Zuckerberg, it's a problem. North Korea is a loose country that is developing and shooting missiles out into sea. So regardless of what the media is saying, regardless of who is president, this is a problem that we have to figure out. What do you think is going to help that? Do you think uniting and trying to get the truth and talking to people and talking to Kim Jong-un is going to solve it? Or do you think screaming and freaking out, do you really think that's going to help? Freaking out about North Korea, freaking out about Russia. The media is going to get everybody killed if they don't stop with this BS, because everybody knows it. Millions of people know it. That's why we elected Trump. I didn't vote for Trump, but the American people spoke. And now, in 2020, the American people are going to speak even louder because it's happening. Even here in Los Angeles at Politicon, there were more conservatives and Trump hats than there were Bernie Sanders shirts or Hillary Clinton shirts, because nobody likes these phony politicians. Only people who watch these TV shows and get brainwashed all the time and listen to these pop stars like, I'm a humanitarian, but, I'm going to flood your country with terrorism and we're going to start wars, but I'm a good person and you're a bad person. You're racist and sexist. No, you're racist and you're sexist if you're not paying attention to Syria. If you don't know the truth about Iraq and Libya, you're racist. You're sexist. You're not a social justice warrior. You're not a hero. You're a warmonger in disguise. That's what you are. So I'm sick of people pointing the finger at me and other people saying, oh, well, you support Trump, so you must be a bad person. No, I didn't even vote for him. I'm just not a complete idiot. I'm sorry. If you want me to act dumb and walk around like a big idiot, then I can do that and make a lot of friends, but I don't have time to do that because it's not the truth. I'm interested in the truth. I'm interested in love, knowledge, wisdom, peace, happiness, prosperity, freedom. These are the things that I care about, and you're not going to find that with Hillary Clinton. You didn't find it with Barack Obama. Donald Trump is stopping the wars overseas. This is what I care about. We're bombing 7 countries. How on earth can you look in the mirror, look at yourself, and tell yourself that you're a humanitarian or you're a social justice activist if you're supporting politicians that are lying about the wars in the Middle East? You don't just bomb 7 countries normally. That's not normal. That's how much of a mask that Barack Obama had all of us, including myself, under. Because it wasn't okay when George Bush did it. I think George Bush is the same thing. I'm not a Republican. I'm not right-wing. I'm not here saying, oh, Bush, that's how they get you. Oh, Bush did this, Obama did this, Bush did this. They want you to fight back and forth and never pay attention to what's really going on. And we've surpassed it. We have the internet, we have technology, we have communication. We're never going back to the way it was. It's just not going to happen. It's not realistic. There's millions upon tens of millions upon hundreds of millions of people who are paying attention. They voted a certain way, and it's not going to change. If they ever tried to upend Trump or get rid of Trump, there is going to be a revolution. There's going to be a war, because the majority of people voted for him, and the silent majority is even louder. The amount of people that he built up after this is in the millions. So they really think they're going to get away with it and get Trump out of office. And everybody in the United States, you think, oh, it's because he's so racist and he's getting rid of jobs and he's doing this. No, he's creating jobs. There's millions of jobs. The stock market is booming. People own businesses. I have an internet business now. It's booming and booming and booming. Just shut up and step up. Do something, and you could do anything. I started with nothing. I moved to this city with $500 when I was 23, with nothing, with 2 suitcases, literally, and I'm a success. There's a lot of successes because all it takes is hard work, determination, and it doesn't matter. I've had obstacle on obstacle on obstacle on obstacle, but that's the greatness of America, because it's a pretty peaceful and chill place. You can make the most of yourself, and they're trying to just make everybody fight with each other, yell at each other. And they're not telling the truth about what's happening between Syria, United States, and Russia. And I don't know exactly what's happening. I'm not in there. I'm not in the intelligence communities. I'm not in the government. I'm not a whistleblower. I'm not a leaker. I'm just reading the news. I'm doing what everyone should be doing. But what people do, but they get misled. I'm reading all the news. I'm seeing what the New York Times is saying. I'm seeing what the Washington Post is saying. I'm seeing what Fox News is saying. I'm seeing what MSNBC is saying. And then here's the part what I do, which everyone else doesn't seem to do. I look at the actual documents, because every now and then they release documents. The FBI releases documents. The CIA releases documents. Trump, he has all these leaks. And I read those, and I read what Hillary Clinton did and what Podesta did. I'm reading all of this stuff, and it points you towards the truth. And one side is continuously lying, and it's not Donald Trump. They act like, oh, it's a big, oh my God, he had a phone call where he said, we're not even worried about Canada. Oh, wow, is that the big story, or are the other leaks the story? The ones that you guys are covering up and acting like it doesn't exist. It's bananas. The Washington Post said that Russia hacked the electric grid. It was a fake story. The New York Times said that 17 intelligence agencies said that Donald Trump is colluded with Russia. That was a fake story. They knocked it down to 4 because the other 13 intelligence agencies never even said that. They're lying about everything. They've made up 10 plus. CNN had to fire 3 or make 3 journalists resign because they made up a fake Russia story. Who do you think's telling the truth? The person who's making up 20 Russia stories and can't seem to get it together, or the person who's trying to stop the war with Russia, stop the war with Syria? We can't let Russia take over, of course, but we also can't go all over the Middle East, cause pure destruction, create a refugee crisis. That's Hillary Clinton, that's George Bush, that's Barack Obama, created the refugee crisis. Trump is trying to save you from it, and everybody's blaming him. Hillary, Obama, and Bush created that refugee crisis, not Trump. They did with their failed, terrible policies of killing the leader and letting terrorist groups run rampant and paying terrorists. Literally, possibly what they were doing, and no one seems to care. But that's fine. All I ask after this video, I'm going to end in a little bit, all I ask is, don't pretend to be a humanitarian. Just say you're a warmonger. Don't pretend to be a liberal or a Republican or a Democrat. Just say you like war, and just say you like constant war and terrorism. Don't say you like Hillary Clinton and Obama and that you're a good person because the color of his skin or because of the gender of who she is. That doesn't make you a good person. It makes you an idiot. It makes you a brainwashed zombie that is literally being mind controlled by the media and the news. Because that's the reality. That's the truth. And it doesn't matter how many people think otherwise, because with this election, I've seen the awakening. Everything that I have known for 10 plus years, everybody knows now. It's not 10 people. It's not 1,000 people. It's millions of people, and it's not going away. Trump stopped the covert program to fund moderate rebels, and after lying about it for a week, like the New York Times and Washington Post did, now they're all of a sudden retracting, and they're like, oh, you know what? Maybe it was time that it ended. Yeah, it was time that it ended because you were lying about Russia, lying about Syria, and it's not okay to continue this ridiculous hunt to start a war with Russia, because they wanted to start a war with Russia. Donald Trump won. He was elected. For millions of people voted for him because he was going to stop these wars. I know Green Party people and Bernie Sanders people and lifelong Democrats that voted specifically for Donald Trump because they thought he was going to stop this war in Syria. And that's what he did. And still the Democrats, still the news, still John McCain and the corrupt Republicans drain the swamp. They're all criminals. They're all warmongers. They're all liars. And anybody who follows along to that narrative, just know what you're getting yourself into. I know what I'm getting myself into when I talk about Trump. That's why I do it, because I know what's going on. I don't think he's perfect. I don't think he has all the solutions, but he's doing what he said he was going to do for the first time ever. He's not a politician. He's rich enough to get away with it. He's powerful enough. He's got the cops. He's got the military behind him. He's got millions of people. They know they're done for, and they're throwing this huge panic that's going to get them killed, and it's going to get everyone killed. If they don't shut up and relax and start reporting the news like Newsweek, putting, oh, lazy Donald Trump. Oh, yeah, Newsweek, good job. Yeah, he's so lazy. I saw your magazine cover. It was pathetic. Yeah, Donald Trump's so lazy, you know, just another lazy president stopping the funding of terrorists, you know, just another lazy president destroying ISIS and Al-Qaeda. Oh, yeah, Donald Trump, such a lazy president. I mean, what kind of lazy president stops the Cold War and World War III from happening? It's pathetic. Newsweek, you should be embarrassed. All these other news websites, Huffington Post, Cosmopolitan, you think you're really trendy? You think you're helping girls? Well, talk to the girls in Syria. You think you're helping gays and transgenders? Well, talk to the gays and transgenders in Syria, because they hate you. You think you're helping them? You think you're like, oh, la, 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 we love Hillary Clinton, we love Barack Obama. Everybody overseas hates you. That's why Middle East, you go over there, they hate Americans. Not because of me and you, not because of the people watching this video, because of dumbasses who follow these corrupt leaders who just bomb the Middle East, and then someone comes along like Trump who tries to help, and you all try to drag them down. The Middle East hates you. No girls like you in Syria, Cosmopolitan, and Newsweek, all of these corny social justice publications filled with hypocrites. And I say this proudly and loudly because I'm a real liberal. I'm a real social justice warrior. I really care about the working class and the people and the military and the police and the people struggling and people of all races and religions and genders. I care. That's why I say something. You can't just pretend to care, because you're actually doing destruction. This is what's going on in Syria. Like I said, I'm not a leaker. I'm not a whistleblower. I'm reading everything. I'm reading Reuters. I'm reading this. I'm reading that. And this is what I put together. And millions of people are putting it together. They want war with Russia. They don't want to help you. They don't care about your family. They don't care about your business or your taxes. They want to tax you more. That's how dumb you guys are. They want to steal more of your money, act like they're helping, and start more wars with the tax money they just stole from you. That's the Democratic Party. That's Bernie Sanders. He's not saying anything about Syria because he doesn't care. None of the politicians care. Rand Paul cares. Tulsi Gabbard cares. There's a Republican and a Democrat that care. The rest of them don't give a shit. And that's the reality. That's real talk. I appreciate you guys joining. I'm going to post my donation links below if you want to donate to the movement. I just had to get that off my chest because they're really ramping up this Russia talk. And it should have died a year ago. And if they don't stop it, they're going to keep lowering and lowering our relations with Russia. And the last thing we want is a war with Russia. We don't want a war with Russia. We didn't vote for a war with Russia. We voted for a president who would stop the wars. We want to stop killing people. Yes, it's getting a little more violent because we have to get ISIS out of these territories. Meanwhile, a lot of these fake news reports are like, Trump's killing a bunch of civilians. But the people over there are like, yeah, it's getting bloodier, but you know, this is what needs to happen. We can't let ISIS control our cities. So yeah, it's going to be a little bloody. And that's what we have the military for. We don't have the military to just take over people's countries and steal their oil. That's not why we have the military. We have it for situations like this, to get out of messes like this and protect other countries. That's why we're the strongest country. We need to get back to what America is and what maybe it never was. We have to become it. The real country that actually helps people, not just pretends to help people and steals all their shit. Because people are sick and tired of it in the Middle East. People are sick and tired of it in Russia. And people are sick and tired of it in the United States. That's why Donald Trump won. And you can't just oust him because you talk on Newsweek and all your news sources. You sit in little corners by yourselves and think that you're the popular ones. You're not. You're unpopular. People text me all the time, Anomaly, I wish I could say what you were saying, but I'm afraid to get kicked out of my industry. I don't care because I'm not in any industry. This is what I'm here for. I am my own industry. I appreciate your time. I'm going to put my links below. Share this video or tag someone in it because it's getting ridiculous. As Syria and Iraq becomes more liberated, the people become more free, the news says the complete opposite like they always do. So tune out of mainstream media, listen to independent media, read the headlines, read the New York Post, New York Times, Washington Post, whatever, read it all. But then check out some people that are actually in Syria. Check out people like me, you know, listen to people like Ben Shapiro, listen to people like Jimmy Dore, H.A. Goodman. Listen to everyone, taking a little bit, but just know there's some news sources that their whole job is just to lie about everything. And I'm sick and tired of it. We have a president doing what he said he's going to do. I didn't vote for him, but I'm proud and happy with a lot of things that he's doing. Some things not so much, But that's where we stand up. That's where we, the people, we create opportunities for ourselves. It's the most incredible time to be alive. No matter your race, your religion, or your gender, let's get it. This is the time to be alive. We all have obstacles. Let's get over it and create a society that's better for ourselves, our kids, and our future. Let's make it happen. It's happening now. It's the greatest time to be ever. The energy is rare. It's legendary. God bless you. God bless your family. We'll be back. Links below. Peace.